world changers or wannabe world changers who think they have to change a billion people, and there's the real world changers who change the world for one person.
To say rejection is not a bad thing. It's the fertilizer for your dreams to grow in.
But if I quit, then I've lied to them and I've lied to myself.
Self-confidence really does come from keeping your word to yourself. Every time that you keep your word to yourself on what you said you were going to do, you build a little bit of self-confidence, right?
I'm David Specht, and this is Keep This in Mind. Welcome to this special edition of Keep This in Mind. 12 years ago, I did a talk with my friend Sean Green about the opportunity bubble, and it was tied to the World Cup. And since the World Cup is on the top of everybody's mind this week, I thought I'd share this with you. There's a lot of great insights, even 12 years later.
Yes, the opportunity bubble. If you hear it from this point forward, anywhere outside of here, we get the credit, okay? Just telling you, we get the credit. Yeah. You can even, I think it's hashtagable, hashtag opportunity bubble, just saying. So, but you will understand what this term means very shortly, but it is born out of something that Sean and I discussed on our most recent podcast. Yeah. And so I'm gonna let him I'm gonna talk over him very often because that's what I do. But he's gonna take us through what this whole concept of the opportunity bubble is.
David called me in his office Tuesday morning and said, I want to record a podcast and I want to talk about business opportunities. And I said, okay. And I said, why me? Because it's normally Jerry. And I wasn't just a warm body in the building, but he said it relates to soccer because America had played Ghana Monday night. Big ratings, huge social media reaction. So we're going to use that to equate to the opportunity bubble. See, just to give you some, I mean, locally it's not a big deal outside of 20 people meeting at a bar maybe. But I'm about to show you a video that was filmed in Houston at just a normal bar. This was not like a supporters bar. This was not anything, but this is something that the Houston Dynamo, the MLS team in Houston, filmed at a bar.
America's about to score the winning goal.
Yep. Yeah, house beer. But that's the type of reaction you get. Nobody cares about soccer, okay? Largely.
Not in America, anyway.
Not in America. But look at the Twitter reaction. 4.9 million tweets for less than 2 hour period. This was some of the reaction on Twitter.
Big soccer fan, apparently,
Yeah,
at least for that day.
Everybody knows that guy.
How about this one?
Yeah. That's just some. I mean, I had to literally whittle it down to get this on here. But, so you're going, okay, so what is this? You know, this is all great. Yeah, U.S. scores a goal, everybody spills beer everywhere, whoop-de-doo. What does this have to do with bubbles? Like I was saying, Americans mostly don't care about soccer, okay? But for 1 month, every 4 years, which is the duration of the World Cup, everybody becomes a U.S. men's national team fan.
Matter of fact, if you think about it, during college football season, you know, everybody wears their purple and gold or whatever colors for their team, but you know, rarely does something permeate an entire year, et cetera. And the same's true with soccer. You know, we may have kids that play in city league soccer, but we don't follow a team. We really don't even care unless it's like Parkway High School, you know, what a organized soccer team does beyond the fact that they're playing. I mean, we just, as Americans, we've not grown up that way. But it's amazing how different events cause our focus to move to soccer. I didn't even know this game was on. One of the Facebook reactions that I saw from a friend of mine, which was classic, he said, "Why didn't somebody call me and tell me I was supposed to care about soccer tonight?" And that's the way Americans are. But you notice the people in the video, they were just like engrossed in it. And let me tell you, those people probably prior to that were fair weather fans at best. And yet you saw the engagement that they had at that moment.
And it's important to note, this was not a championship match. I mean, that was the first game. Now, to be fair, they had to win to progress, to even have a chance of progressing. So it was a huge game, but it wasn't like this was for a trophy. Okay, so anyway.
Actually, they had lost twice in time.
Yeah, kicked them out of the World Cup in 2006, 2010. Don't open old wounds. But what David's talking about, this short window of opportunity like you have for U.S. soccer, it's the same in business. You know, something could come along that has this finite amount of time where you can really capture people's imagination and capitalize on it. And thus, the opportunity bubble. And that's the first rule of the opportunity bubble, is some opportunities have a short shelf life.
One of the things that Sean and I talked about I guess the game was Tuesday. Monday. On Tuesday, we got talking and I said, I think I saw some Team USA jerseys at Academy. Now, as far as I know, Academy Sports and Outdoors is the only place in Shreveport-Bossier that sells Team USA soccer jerseys, but they didn't sell them prior to the World Cup. They understood that an opportunity was coming, that at some point people were going to get behind Team USA and that they could take advantage of that by providing something that people wanted at the time that the focus was on. If you notice, they always carry LSU, Saints, even some Louisiana Tech gear in their stores, but every once in a while, because of an outside event, they carry something new and different. And they had to see it coming months in advance because you got to order, you got to get it in inventory, you got to get it priced, you got to let your sales staff know. So they're kind of taking a risk in the fact that they see it coming, but will America get behind it? Will it be something that we can capitalize on? And so they took the risk and began selling it. And Sean got the shirt on Tuesday. I was like, he's a soccer fan for a different league, and so I didn't even know if he cared. And so I said, they got Team USA jerseys up there. He goes, they do? I got to have one, you know? And that's the way people are when it's a big deal. How many, when LSU wins the national championship of anything, immediately want to go buy the T-shirt?
Or the hat.
Or the hat, or the whatever, or whatever your team is. Saints win a Super Bowl, everybody owns black and gold for the next 6 months, right? It's because the opportunity has presented itself. An outside force has shifted your focus to something else, and you want to engage with that thing. And that's what we're talking about with an opportunity bubble.
Yeah, and you talked, there was a risk there for Academy to buy those shirts because, honestly, if America loses, interest plummets.
Yeah, they're kind of placing a bet. But Academy's big enough to where if they have to ship all those shirts to Ethiopia and give them away, they can take that hit. So high risk, high reward in their case.
We kind of talked about that. Following this metaphor, they had to sniff out that this was going to happen. Not only did they have to have it marked on their calendars, but they had to know people care and people will care. And so they took it upon themselves to order these shirts, hoping they can make some money. And that's what you have to do. Some of them are not just going to be omnipresent. Some opportunities you're going to have to find, sniff out, and dig. But they're there.
And Academy learned, and I'm sure a whole lot of other businesses, that this could be a 1 week thing, or it could be the full month of the World Cup. Can you imagine, should the U.S. continue to win, the demand that's going to rise and the sales that are going to rise out of it? You know, but it could end next week if they lose and they're out of it. So they know this, and we have to be aware of that everything has a shelf life. Everything. No matter what you do, it has a shelf life. And in the opportunity bubble, the shelf life is a lot more condensed than it is in the standard business cycle. So you have to be aware that if I'm going to step out towards this opportunity bubble and take advantage of it, that it is a finite amount of time and it could end at any moment.
Or, to put it in one more thing, taking advantage of the opportunity bubble, as my mom would say, is making hay while the sun shines. Make money while you got the chance. But it's important to note, we're going to talk about this, the difference between an opportunity bubble and a market shift on both sides. You don't want to misconstrue an opportunity bubble for a market shift and vice versa, because let's say somebody who doesn't have any clue about this goes, well, everybody loves soccer, so I'm going to invest thousands and thousands of dollars buying all this gear and all these shirts and all these cleats, and you've gone too far. You've got to scale it back. This is a 1 month thing, not a complete change in the marketplace.
Yes, and that's the hardest thing for we as business owners deal with, is deciding what is a short-term opportunity and what's a long-term shift. I'm pretty sure Blockbuster thought Redbox would be just an opportunity bubble. It's going to fade. And I'm sure Redbox may or may not be thinking, Netflix is just an opportunity bubble. But in both of these cases, a market shift took place. And because they didn't move and didn't recognize, and those of you who got the books last week didn't notice that the cheese had moved, they went out of business. Where's the Blockbuster? There isn't one. We used to, Blockbuster put out the mom and pops, then Redbox put out Blockbuster. I don't know what will happen. The more and more the internet speeds up and is able to handle greater bandwidth and greater definition easily, you may see gone are the days of DVDs. Yeah. Digital killed film. Smartphones are killing digital cameras, except for high end.
Just like our industry.
Yeah.
People thought the internet was a fad, or that it wouldn't be as useful, and so they just kept plugging along, and now they're in a huge hole. Be prepared for the bubble to burst early. Sometimes, like I said, America doesn't win Monday. Nobody cares. That's an uphill battle that would be almost impossible for them to keep going. So now you've invested all this money in this inventory, and you've lost this money because they didn't win. It can happen.
At this moment, I would like everybody to open their bottles and blow some bubbles.
Get mine away.
There's a silver thing. Use your keys. Hopefully there's at least... Hopefully there's a wand in there. Yeah, there's a wand in there. There, I got my wand. Looks like the soap sucked though.
Can't get mine open.
I want you to notice a few things while you're blowing your bubbles. Some are bigger, some are smaller.
I'm not digging in there.
Some last a while, some make the floor wet.
Sorry, John.
It's okay. Sometimes you can catch a bubble twice. Very good.
Yeah. Your hands get dirty.
Hey, think about this. If you don't blow the bubble just right, you break it, right? And so sometimes you can come in as a business person like gangbusters and kill the opportunity by being overzealous. Nobody likes a pushy salesman, said everybody who ever went onto a car lot. So, but as you see them floating by, think about the opportunities that show up around you all the time. Some of them are real tiny and will disappear quickly. Have you ever had those bubbles though when you were a kid and you were doing them outside and that one bubble floated and floated and floated what seemed like for days?
Or you had the giant wand and the bubble just went and went and went and went and went, and finally you had a humongous bubble. John ruined it.
Yeah.
But that brings us to a very important next point. You have to be on the lookout for more bubbles. While you're blowing bubbles, as you just were, everybody stop now. While the bubble is still in the air, you need to be on the lookout for more bubbles. Not saying divert your attention away from this opportunity bubble, but let's say you have a staff of 20 people who depend on these opportunity bubbles. Well, you better know what the next one is, or else those 20 people are going to be out of a job.
Right. And remember, we kind of talk about the World Cup, but opportunity bubbles are not just event driven. There's opportunities around you that you can help in various areas of business. Look at the Biz Breakfast. The Biz Breakfast was an opportunity bubble. It may be a shift, it may be a huge bubble that lasts a long time, but it wasn't exactly like we were sitting in the office one day going, we need to have something, let's call John. John calls us and says, look, we've got this time on a Friday. I like what you're doing. Can you do some of that content with us and do it? And that presented an opportunity to us. And however long this lasts, it's awesome. We will take advantage of it. We will help as many people as we can help. But it gets back to you have to be looking for it and being able to engage in it. Now, every opportunity has a cost, okay? Understand that. Don't stretch yourself so thin going after every opportunity out there that you do a poor job with the opportunities you've already been given. We have witnessed that in our own business, like today. Today, when we first talked, we said, oh, let's just come in, talk to the folks. It'll be easy. It's an hour on Friday. Well, an hour on Friday also involves, the hours of preparation on Thursday. There's costs involved, and we want to make sure that you understand that with opportunity comes opportunity costs, and you need to evaluate that. The other thing is too, you have to, and I think this is a coming slide, you have to be prepared to fail. Not every opportunity will be a success, but every opportunity will be a learning opportunity. But don't sell the farm and lose everything if the opportunity bursts. Let's follow the same example with a different company. LSU was going to face Alabama several years ago for the second time in a season in the national championship game. Oh, yeah, I know it's sore, but we can get through it, brother. The foregone conclusion was that LSU was going to win. Okay, the result of the game was that Alabama won. But there was a businessman here in Shreveport-Bossier who bet on LSU winning. And I'm not talking about bet money. He bet his business by buying a bunch of LSU National Championship T-shirts and paraphernalia. He had a place called Tiger Island. It was down in South Bossier. It was part of Reeves Marine. And not only did he not sell any LSU National Championship gear, he went through a period of time where nobody wanted to buy LSU anything because everybody was so mad at how that game turned out. He had invested so much that he could not weather the storm of the loss.
He lost millions of dollars, didn't
he? He went out of business, but Tiger Island went out of business immediately. He tried to hold on with Reeves Marine, but the downturn in the economy, people weren't buying luxury boats and things as much. So all of the investment he made in this potential opportunity bubble cost him. That's what I'm saying. When there's an opportunity, understand that there's a risk involved. There's capital that's outlaid, there's time that's outlaid. Be willing to say, if this thing doesn't pan out, we're still going to be okay. We might not have grown the way we'd like to, or we might not, but we'll still be okay. Because that's wisdom in business. Now, to us entrepreneurs, and him too, we're kind of like ready, fire, aim people. Let's go, let's do it. And then get like 3 steps down the road and go, oh Lord, I can't pull this off. So understand that those opportunity bubbles, as great as they are and as exciting as they are and as shiny as they are, do have a cost involved. And you want to make sure before you take advantage of it that you can afford to lose.
Because we're always in favor of, our philosophy is launch and tweak. Do it and figure it out and make it better as you go. Find out where the pitfalls are, what you need to do. And another important element of that is that, we know we don't always know. Yes?
Wasn't that an emotional decision
What, for that thing? Oh, for Rodney? Yes, it was. Yeah. Man had season tickets on the 50-yard line. He is a big supporter. But at the same, and that's true. The wisdom wasn't there because his emotions got involved. Yes, and that happens.
It was pretty obvious the first game on November 2nd when he put Jordan Jefferson in that if he continued to play Jordan Jefferson against Alabama,
Those. But how many times is your vision clouded by your preconceived emotional things, right? I mean, I'm a Mac guy. And as a Mac guy, if you walk up to me with an Android device or a Microsoft anything, I'm just like, get away, you evil spawn of Satan.
He constantly talks noise about it.
I was at a local store yesterday buying an iMac for this guy behind me. Praise the Lord, amen. Preach it, brother.
Yeah, really.
And the sales associate had the gall to ask me, would you like to buy my office for this? No. Actually, I might have used a colorful metaphor before the word no, but I said no. But that's because my preconceived. Does Microsoft make good products? In some cases, they make very good products. But my preconceived emotional connection to all things Mac, all things Apple, clouds my judgment on things. And we can't have that when we're looking at opportunity bubbles. You cannot allow your judgment to be clouded. I stuck with Apple Mail for years, frustrated by the fact that I'm get spam after spam after spam after spam, no matter what filters I bought, whatever, on my computer. I switched to Gmail 4 months ago. Amazing. Cleaned it all up. I mean, I was just, hallelujah. So I let my emotions keep me from engaging Google for the longest time, but then when I finally got fed up to the place where I needed to make a change, the cloud came, the skies parted, and I was able to look at things from a different point of view.
In sports, what David's talking about is you're called a homer, and in pop culture, you're called a fanboy. That's basically what he's talking about. So if you hear those, that's what he means. But it's important to note when we talk about this and failing, if the bubble has burst, don't stick with it. The newspaper industry is the perfect example of this. The bubble burst a long time ago. We're still sticking with it. And that's the reason why that's in the trouble it's in. Reeves Marine, if he was smart enough to know it's gone and I've lost the money and that's it, he could have very well gone, well, everybody still loves LSU. I'll just go buy more stuff and put himself even further in debt. He didn't. If he had, can you imagine how much money he would have lost on that, knowing that he supposedly lost $1 million or more in this?
Rodney told me one day, because I'm not an LSU fan, by the way, so throw all the tomatoes you want to. I am a University of Florida Gators fan. And I was in his office one day and I said, thank you. I was in his office and I said, why do you have just all this LSU stuff? He had like maybe this much Arkansas stuff and this much Texas stuff. And I said, why do you have all this LSU stuff? I said, man, if you had Florida stuff, I would be doing business with you because I'd rather buy local than buy off the internet. And he said, well, I can get anything you want. Well, think about that. When his bubble burst at that, when Alabama won, he had an opportunity to shift his focus to say, you know what, I'm not going to be just Tiger Island. I'm going to be a sports memorabilia store like Fantastic down on the boardwalk. He had an opportunity to reach a greater audience, but because of the cloud in his mind and sticking with a burst bubble, it cost him. So learn of those things. I'm not suggesting you start fixing PCs because I don't want you to do that. That's just evil. But at the same time, you got to get self out of the way. Self will get in the way of clear decisions every time. My dad had a saying. He said, don't let your mad get your money. Think about that. Don't let your mad get your money.
Yeah, how many people have you ever want to call in and go, you're fired because you screwed up? That's letting your mad get your money. But, I mean, that's why you need a team.
Yes.
That's why you need 2 or 3 people making decisions or helping you make decisions. Because they're going to go, I don't like that idea because it's important, there are entrepreneurs who are great business people and can make these decisions and have a sterling track record and can take advantage of every opportunity bubble there is. But for most of us, we need 2 or 3 people to go, David, we're going to get into app development. I had an idea we can, and I'm like, who's going to have time? Who's going to have time to do this?
Right. Every opportunity
And
costs
then
you something.
the record skipped.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, we did, like I said, we've done event-driven things. Let me tell you about an opportunity bubble that I've seen that is still going on, that will probably end at some point, but it's really cool now. In 2008, of course, we all learned about the Haynesville Shale natural gas play. And the natural thing is, okay, people got money off of leases. There was more and more oil and gas people coming into town. The hotels saw a boom. But there was this one company out of Minden called Party Express Catering. And all they did up until this point was fish fries for weddings and events. But the owner got this idea. He said, these people are out in the field. They need to eat. There's no restaurants out in the middle of nowhere where these big, if you've ever driven down 371 towards Coshada, you'll see like these huge manufacturing facilities, pipe facilities, nothing around them. So he started investigating. And sure enough, the gas companies were willing to pay for him to come in and feed the people out in the field. He created an entire wing of his business that does nothing but that. And he went from 2 trailers to, I think he's got 6 now. Now, we all know that at some point this is going to play out and it's going to be a whole lot more automated than it is. We've seen it on the exploration side, but even on the production side. Once the pipelines are built and everything's in, it's going to slow way down. But he's taking advantage of it now and building his business as a result. It can, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity bubble. And as you see it, you can take advantage of it. The film industry here, those are small opportunity bubbles. How many times have you heard somebody say there's a call out for this or they need a place to shoot for that, and local businesses have that opportunity to provide that for them? This is what we've got to look at as business owners and decision makers, is what are those opportunities? Robin is doing a great job over at Holiday Lane. She's come up with play therapy. And it's something that me and my team are going to get ready to take advantage of, where it's, team building, culture building, outings at Holiday Lanes for companies. There's an opportunity. There's a way to say, we do this, but we can provide it as a service to this group that's never even considered us before. So those are the types of things we're talking about as far as opportunity bubbles. You've got to be looking around. I heard a phrase that says there's no new ideas in the world, there's just new ways of presenting them. You can look elsewhere for opportunity bubbles that you can establish locally.
And it doesn't have to be making money.
No.
It can be hosting an event to impact your community. It can, impact Benton, for example, Louisiana Startup Prize. It can be raising awareness. The Susan G. Komen opportunity bubble. You have a captive audience for 3 miles. What are you going to show them before and after they get done? So it's not just.
Yeah, my uncle told me, he says, if you take care of the community will take care of you. And so opportunities are not always a buy-sell thing. It's something where you say, I have an opportunity to give, to share in front of a group of people that may not know who I am or what I do, but then they have a connection back to me, and that will pay dividends in the long run. If more companies would operate that way, you would see far fewer companies going out of business. Pay it forward. We live in a society today that people want something before they'll pay for something. They want that app for free, but they might buy the paid version down the road. They want, to provide, a free lesson before they buy the course. That's just the way the world we live in now. So we have to be prepared for that and see these opportunities for what they are. They may be something that, yes, you can reap benefits today from, or they may be investments that you can reap from tomorrow. We all benefit from a better business community. We all benefit from people working together and helping move things forward, because the more people we get to come here, the more people we get to move here, the more opportunities that there are here, provides more opportunities for us to be successful. And it's a win-win for everyone. So, if you want to learn more about what we've talked about today, If you would go to bizmagsb.com/biztools23, that's the 30-minute podcast that Sean and I talk a little bit more in depth about the World Cup impact and things. bizmagsb.com.
You post it to the Facebook too.
Yeah, we'll post it too. biztools23. If you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, you've already gotten it. So it's there. But be excited. Look for the opportunities that are around you. They're floating just like bubbles everywhere.
If you just get out of the mind of making money, which there are plenty of bubble opportunity bubbles for that, but if you really look at the wide spectrum of what you can do, and the opportunity bubbles relating to that, they're millions.
Thanks for keeping this in mind today. If something landed, share this with someone who needs it. And if you haven't already, follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Connect with me at davidaspecht.com, and I'll see you next time. God bless.